Noah Plackey. We're also known as Team JN. Whatever. Our game is Mascot Wraith. It's a tower defense style strategy game. It takes after like the old school Flash games that you would play at school whenever you were bored. We don't have a story because it's just supposed to be for fun. And so each side has a tower, and our game is, because it's Mascot Wraith, it's by university mascots. So you are UT, you have UT people, and we're against A&M. And so on one side is the UT Tower, on the other side is the A&M Clock Tower, which I didn't know if they had a clock tower, but they do. And so we have the little power-ups like Bingo, Matthew McConaughey, he can come out and help you. Our board students and your financial aid can come down and kill your enemies. So your goal is to get to the other side and destroy their tower. Everybody wants to do. Our initial design is we knew we wanted some sort of strategy game, some sort of strategy defense. The goal was always to get to the other side of the opposing university's landmark. We wanted to have multiple units that were upgradable with different card assets and different statistic values, such as your health and attack. We always wanted power-ups because no strategy game is really complete if you don't have something to help you out. And we didn't want to have too much of a complex gameplay, so it was always planned just send out the unit, let them fight, and then strategize what your next move is while your units are fighting. The challenges of the implementation were, for me at least, figuring out what Phaser is capable of doing. There was one time where I was trying to do something, but it was like, oh, you can only do that in Phaser 3. So, okay, that's great. So I had to figure out ways around Phaser's limitations, and the physics as well are getting a little bit confusing because there's different types of physics. Getting the individual statistics to work, health and attack, making sure that those were unit specific was a little bit difficult because of the phaser limitations. And balancing the game is something that we really need to work on because right now, anybody that played our game knew that it was more of like a spam fest to just get to the other end. But obviously that's not a good game, so we're changing that. For the non-technical side, just getting art is really hard to do because we are a two-man team, and so we can't just let one person do all the programming. So we're just focusing on programming right now, and then art is kind of like an afterthought for the end whenever we polish things up. But that's really difficult to find time to get that done. Our mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics, the long, boring things. Our mechanics, just use the keyboard, keeping it simple, just click buttons, or use the keyboard to send out the units. And the combat is just stat-based, so it's, your attack value takes away from the health, and then you win, go on to the next guy. It's very simple. Dynamics is that there's going to be variance between the units, so you can't. Everything's going to be different. You have one tank that goes in, one ranged guy. That way you have a little bit of strategy, so that you have to think about what you send out next. Power-ups also change the flow of game. So if you're in a pickle, you send out Matt, and then he just takes care of everybody like Yoda. Aesthetics, our art is, like I said, very simple right now because we haven't had time to get other things. Currently, we're trying to use as much art that we can from the internet to download, so we don't have to make it ourselves. And it's working out all right for now. And the feeling that we want for the player is focus, because you need to pay attention, and we want it to be where if you don't pay attention, you slack just a little bit, then the enemies come over to your side, so you have to really take care of that. And what's working well is we're making steady progress with our two-man team. The unit combat is, we're working on that, making it more and more balanced so that it can be more of a game. And the power-ups are being tweaked as well with cooldowns, and we only have 2 of them so far, so we're still working on those. But it's all coming together. And outside of the technical things, what's going well is that our initial plan is actually coming into fruition pretty well. What we thought about doing at the beginning is coming alive. We're working pretty hard on it, and our sprints are coming along compared to at the beginning. I think that we're really making good progress.
Alright, so things that could have gone better on our team is that one of our teammates just kind of left in the middle of our beginning phases. So when we actually trusted him to do part of his stuff, he didn't. So him and I have to pick up all the slack. And for the artwork itself, it was really hard to find the ones that we needed because there's no artwork of Matthew McConaughey and a horde of freshmen, throwing drunk bottles everywhere. And the controls right now are just inline gaming where you literally all you have is R for restarting the game, and then you have a space bar for throwing balls at people. And then most of it is just clicking on the screen to send out a certain type of unit or the power-ups that we have. And we're hoping, we're actually looking towards building it so it's mainly just keyboard rather than using a mouse. And the lessons learned, I would say we should have done more research on this type. Because there's a lot more that we can offer on the game rather than just having it units play each other. Yes, lessons definitely learned. We believe that the tutorial, like Paul has always demanded, is very, very necessary to get the user to be engaged. And we need a better system in terms of dissipating work between two people because we're both very busy and we're not the best at communicating right now. Are we proud of our game? Yes.
What?
And no. Yes, because we are the only team that's doing like an inline game where it doesn't focus mainly on just one player unit. It deals with multiple classes of units that has different attributes and they act a certain way depending on which type of unit they come across. And also, it also gives a player control over the battlefield as well, from being able to throw balls and like use powers from the tower. Otherwise, our game kicks ass. What was gratifying is that whenever we were actually able to get the units to realize the different classes that were coming across and use different styles of attack modes or attack strengths. And I would say the most gratifying was when, because we didn't have much done for the first like 3 weeks, Paul was bashing us hard. And then we finally had some kind of like power-ups and things, and he really dug the whole money raining down, where he killed everybody. So that was, I would say, our best gratifying moment. What could we change? We're gonna switch over from that old system to the new system over here.
I am very confused. Is it a bachelor or something?
What?
It's fine.
Okay. So, going with our new system is going to be moving from keyboard, or not keyboard, mouse and kind of like plain old gaming style to keyboard use where it gets the controls in one place rather than having to go back and forth with mouse and controls with keyboards because that's really confusing. And we're also implementing a player character so that while you're on the battlefield with a bunch of different units, you can interact with your player character and also the tower and the units that are on the battlefield. So your player character itself will have super awesome fighting styles like the one you saw earlier in one of our slides.
You gotta hurry up.
So yes, that's it. I know, it's perfection.
Yeah, you're right.
Alright, let me give you some feedback.
Okay.
Many slides were way too much text. Did anybody read any of that text?
No.
No. So it's like making a game when you're putting a lot of content in it and nobody looks at the content. When you get to bullet points, I read it, but when you had a block of text, I didn't bother reading it, so it was not even worth putting up on the thing. Number two thing, if you put the GIFs like as large as the text, then what you're saying is the GIFs are supporting the content in the text. And I don't know whether you actually want to communicate that because the GIFs are completely disconnected or other than funny.
Right.
To the text. So I think you've been better off with making the GIFs a lot smaller for the humor aspect of it, and then having a lot fewer words, bigger and clearer than it was than you had in the presentation.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks.